Okay, so here we are on a back to this this video here, back to this drawing here called Princess Shala-kala, which is a weird name I just came up with throwing together some syllables, and because it needed a name. Maybe it sounds like something else, or maybe it's not the most original thing, but oh well. You know, I needed a name. Actually, I just wanted to have a drawing. The name is just something I need for the drawing. So, there's a name. I made it up. And if you have a better one, feel free to, pass that along. So what's going on here is I have two main layers. Let me get rid of that one real quick. I have this foreground layer with the characters there and a background layer. You zoom out there, there's nothing. So I have a background in the back, this one in the front. And behind the foreground layer, I just added another layer, which will be the color for the characters here. I'm going to keep that separate, on a separate layer from the background color. And what I'm going to do first is just lay down some base color, basically. There's different things I could do at this stage right here. I could make, as you see, the background, the furthest background is actually white, like that. Okay. If I go back to this layer, start painting, then I'm basically drawing or painting over a white layer, and that actually does matter in this situation because some of this is how do I say, transparent. What I'm drawing with this brush right here is the way that I'm drawing with it, there's opacity, pressure opacity on the brush. So if I push harder, for example, this is better demonstrated with black here. If I push soft, then you see it's kind of like gray and transparent. But if I push hard, then it makes a thick black line like that. So if I were to go up here, come to this layer and change it to black. Let's see. Right. Now you can see, oh wow, there's some stuff, white spots in there I didn't even know about. So I'm glad I did that. Yeah, but you can see now how that color I was using actually does make a difference, because as I try to draw over it here, some of these spots, they're being influenced by the background color because it wasn't a full opaque color that I'm drawing with. It's like I said, it's kind of a transparent color. It's doing a watercolor kind of effect. So there's two things that I can do. Well, first of all, I want to know that and be aware of that and keep that in consideration. Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong layer here. Whoops. Let me go back. Yeah. Anyway, one thing to do is to just keep that in consideration, obviously. Be aware of it, because it might become important in the future when I start drawing in the background. Of course, it's not, a fatal issue. I can deal with it, but it's something to be aware of because it might affect things in the future. So for starters here, the first thing I want to do is get a nice strong base color down for every little object. Right, so here's a girl. Her skin color is probably going to be the same throughout her body. Doesn't have to be. I could give her like light skin on the top half and dark skin on the bottom half. Maybe she's alien breed or something like that. But in this case, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Give her all one skin color. And then the buildings, they're all going to have a base color, predominant color, and the ground here and all these different things. So I want to fill all that stuff in with a strong, solid base color. Now what I should really do, based on all these things I just said, is switch the brush so it's not doing this opacity thing, so it's giving me a nice solid color. But I'm not going to do that in this software because it's actually kind of annoying to do. I like this software, Krita, but they're still they seem to be working on things. It's new software. They admit themselves. They're aware of the fact it's still a little buggy, and it's a free software, so you get what you pay for, I guess. I hate to put it like that. How else can you put it, really? This is something you can't complain about, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Beggars can't be choosers. Nah, that's not what I mean. It's a good software. So and these things are expected, even with like Photoshop or whatever. You never know what's going to happen. You know, it could be $1,000 software and it still has bugs, and you paid for the bugs. So this is just the situation. I'm just going to fill this in manually, not worry about that opacity problem right now. Excuse my hoarse throat. As you can see, I'm giving them slightly different skin colors. I'm moving, if you pick out, I did this before, if you go to like Google Images and search people and get all different types of people, faces, you know, just skin colors, black people, white people, yellow people, whatever color, and pull out a color picker and start choosing, you know, just picking the colors from all different people, all different races and skin colors and skin tones and stuff like that, and see what happens. It's actually very interesting what happens. You keep getting the same color in a lot of cases, and it makes you realize the difference between our skin color. Even with, like, I guess black people or dark skinned people, you might come to find that the difference in skin color surprisingly is quite a bit subtle. And depending on where you drop that color picker tool as well, can make a huge difference. I'm playing around with different levels of color here. But it's usually somewhere between this yellow area here. You know, if I can zoom this in, somewhere between that kind of yellow and this kind of red, you're actually going to find people, they have a lot of redness to them. Why doesn't it look so red? Because if you add a lot of white to the red, like this, then you come up with that kind of peach color. And so, you know, somewhere around there you can get a lot of varying skin tones. I did have something in mind for what I want to do with the skin color with these characters here. I wanted the princess in the middle to be a bit more dark-skinned, a little more brownish kind of color, which means we'd be closer to the red and a little bit in the dark area. Might be able to get something like this. And you can mix it up and have layers and stuff like that. There's a lot of different ways you could go about this. You know, people don't have just like one flat color all over their bodies, their skins. I mean, you have these people who sit out in the sun, you know, sunbathe all the time, and they worry about the perfection of their skin. And, you know, girls who are, I don't know if guys do it much, but girls will be willing to take off all of their clothes to get a perfect full body tan. I guess everyone can do that, but I've noticed girls do it more than guys that I've known. So, yeah, we've got 3 different shades there anyway. It's something to start with, a little base color. I can go back and pick it up. And when that's done, it's also good to go back and randomize the colors a bit. For example, you could go in, take some red, maybe not that red, it's a little red, kind of a blushy feeling, and get a little opacity in here and just, you know, redden some places up, something like this, maybe around here, there, random spots for no particular reason, or maybe it's in the areas where skin touches skin, like the bottom of her feet should definitely be unique, you know. Since they're girls, we can do the makeup cheeky thing. And that's on a low opacity. So I'm just, you know, mixing the colors up a little. And again, the reason for this is because nobody really has perfect skin color all over. And, you know, people are animals. They have, like, blood going through their bodies and stuff like that. Also want to keep in mind for this particular situation, it is fantasy style painting, so I don't really have to worry too much about being so realistic. I actually enjoy a bit of the you know, alien kind of look. If it looks a little weird, that's okay. And I think these colors are a bit dark right now, but it's working. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna leave that how that is, and go back to the, where's the other layer? Yeah, this one here. It's background layer. And so, as you notice with this, with the foreground layer, I have the black lines are in front of the characters, and then go down here, and this is the background, and so beneath that, okay, I'll have another layer that'll be the colors for the background. So we'll start filling that in with blue. I was thinking whether or not I should do a blue sky or... Okay, so I just had the software crash on me, and I don't know, I guess yeah, I'll just cut off that last bit of the previous video and add another one. What is this layer here? So I have to add that layer again. Luckily there was an autosave in there, like very luckily, so I didn't want to have to draw that again. Although, I mean, I've been talking a lot, it wouldn't have been that hard to just recolor in those parts there. So yeah, here we go again. Back to a blue, deep blue. And I'll try and tell you what my original idea was with this. Actually, you know what? This is, I need a background. I'm actually going to do 3 layers of background here. So I'm going to go all the way back down here. Yeah. There's going to be the sky background, which is nice to keep separate from the you know, building landscape background. I've basically learned to, I'll get back to what I was talking about in a minute, but yeah, I've basically learned to separate things into 3 or 4 different background or layer types when I'm doing an illustration like this. And what it boils down to for me is you have the foreground with your characters, or there should be some like focal point, something going on. If not, that's fine. You know, sometimes it's just like a scene, landscape kind of thing. But even in a landscape, usually I have some kind of like, I don't know, some object or some tree or something in the foreground. And then you have, so that's your foreground. Let me go back. I might consider naming these layers. And then you'll have like, you know, the scene, the landscape area, and then you'll have the background, which is the sky. And it becomes pretty clear why you want to separate these layers, because, well, for one thing, it's a matter of overlapping things and being able to go back underneath a certain layer and change the whole thing. For example, the sky there. Let me get into, where am I going? I'm going to start coloring in these buildings. I might start off with just gray, just to have something in there. Yeah. So, for an example of this building here, I'm making this building, and then I have another building over here. I'm going to color that in. What if after I color these in, I decide I want to change the color of the sky? Actually, that's not what I was looking for. Well, if that happens, it's going to be a problem, because I would have to draw all around the buildings with that color of sky. So if I have to do that, how can I do that nice smooth gradient and then stop in between each building, right? I can't do it the same way I just did it with that one tool trick, that one-click trick where I just made the full sky have that gradient like that. I'd have to draw in between each building. So obviously the best thing to do here is to have the sky on a different layer and just go back there later and do that. So now they have these buildings growing back there, growing buildings just like, you know, trees grow. What if I decided I want to go with a lighter blue, like this, for the sky, and I'll go to that gradient tool again, and I'll go like this, and there you have it. So the buildings are still in the front, and I could just, with one quick trick like that, just change the color of the sky. So I'm not sure if I like that. Okay, so for now I'll leave it like that. So, and to go back to my original point that I was getting at there, with my original plan of what it is I want to do with this, I had a pretty clear vision in my mind of kind of a dark place. I don't want to use the word dark really, just some place that has a neon kind of look to it. So it's a little bit darker, but there's a lot of like neon lights going on. So it has that kind of matrixy kind of look to it. I actually like how these buildings in the background might be that kind of gray. What I'm thinking is, depends on where the the light is coming from too. And in this situation, we don't know what is the light. Is the light the sunlight? Is there one sun? Are they on a foreign planet with you know, 2 suns and multiple moons or something? So yeah, anything can happen at this point. So I'm just going to keep filling in this stuff here. The important part of what I'm doing here is that we can see I'm separating the background from the foreground here. I'm just filling this stuff in and thinking about what I'm going to do with the colors while I'm doing that. And you can see how these characters in the front should start to pop out and separate themselves from the background as I do this. But eventually this background will become you know, a colorful place. So, keeping that in mind, what I was saying about my plan for this, they're going sort of like through a corridor, and I mean, the vision in my head is very clear, but I guess this is why I draw and I don't write. It's not easy for me to articulate some things I have in my mind sometimes with words. So yeah, I'm just trying to see how I can explain it. It's like, imagine coming through a corridor. Imagine even like the original idea might have been even that they're underwater and they're going through this tunnel, kind of like if you ever go to SeaWorld or something and you can be underwater in this glass tunnel, and the area around them would have a lot of like neon lights lighting up the pathway, stuff like that. So there'd be some interesting glow about the area that they're walking through. Now that gray is too gray. It's a little dark gray. I want it to be a lot lighter. And what am I going to do about that? There's different things I can do. If I was in the GIMP, I could use color picker. I'm not sure with this software. I don't want to waste time looking for it, really. One thing I might do is, well, just leave it like that, which is actually okay. Because all I did is I just separated the background from the foreground. And now I'm just looking at my values here. So yeah, with all that in mind, I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is how do I want to handle the colors in the background? The values is really the most important first step. Do I want it to be darker back there, or do I want it to be lighter? Both are doable, and I can, you know, I can make excuses for it either situation. I could say it's nighttime. I could change the color of the sky. I could say, I mean, basically I can do whatever I want here. So yeah, there's different ways of going about that. These buildings, I'm trying to see what happens if I make them lighter, if I feel happy with that. But for compositional purposes, one thing is, you know, must be maintained, and that is the composition has to be good, has to be pleasing to the eye, and you know, some things like that. So this starts to work out if I use a lighter color for this one, for this stuff that's further off in the background. You start to get a feeling that, you know, I'm pushing that stuff back, and that's okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that. It's, you know, it's something that can be done. But at the same time, I want to remember that original image I have. I do like to stray from the path sometimes and say, you know, I have the freedom, if I want to do things different from the original plan because I found something more interesting along the way, okay, do that. I have the freedom to do that. But also don't want to deviate too far from the original path, because that kind of like kills the point. If you constantly do that and you're just, you know, wandering around aimlessly, yeah, I guess you don't really get a sense of achievement out of that. So that kind of works. I could continue to lighten up this area here, but I also want to have that dark kind of feeling. So go back here. I am going to try and make it, I might even go with this weird purple thing. Remember, we're dealing with girls here. You can go crazy with the colors. Doesn't have to be always blue, like, you know, the boy's dream kind of thing. But yeah, I worry when I say things like that, because people are going to think it's like, I don't know, what would you call that? I'm kind of liking that idea there with that kind of blue. I don't want, I don't want it to sound like I'm just like, considering male or female things. It's not about that. It's kind of unique. Now, when you have colors, like you see colors that go into the distance as things are further away, they're supposed to get duller. But the sky can remain a strong color because that's just how it is, unless it's foggy. And you can notice this in a lot of pictures. You might see mountains going off into the distance. They get, duller as they go into the distance, and the colors will fade out. But with the sky is always just like right there, right? And you have the closer part of the sky, and then you have the far part of the sky. So the sky is also kind of getting duller, but the part that's on the top, it doesn't necessarily have to be, dull or plain or anything like that. What I'm trying to get is sort of, I guess, like a Twilight feeling is what I'm looking for. What I might do is another layer. I need to get the right kind of tool here. Yeah, so we're going to go from this color to transparent. And we'll do that with gradient tool again. That's a bit too much. That might work. It doesn't look so natural though. Trying to get a Twilight kind of feeling. So we have Twilight, a little bit of a Twilight feeling. And you can feel the light radiating up from the city. So to be like, there's not so much light coming out of the sky. Most of the light is actually coming out of the electronics and all the glow of the neon from the city. And so now with that being said, I have to reconsider a lot of what I was thinking before. That in that case, that would mean, make sure I'm on the right layer here. Yeah, that would mean, what does that mean? I'm trying to make a point, can't make it. That would simply mean that the values in this case could change in a way that you just don't know. Because you could have bright lights in the back far away, dim lights in the front. Maybe this pathway that they're walking on is lit up, and I think it will be actually. And so there'll be light bouncing from all different directions. Might even change the colors of everything. So you have neon lights, they're going to be emitting like, blues and whites and stuff like that. Okay, so that's basically what we're getting at. Is one thing you can say here, we do have a little bit of natural terrain mixed in with the, there's a combination of organic and technology here. So, whoops, wrong one. These areas over here, you see some trees and grass. Maybe those parts will be darker, and then all the areas that have buildings, they'll be lit up a little bit because they'll have, well, whatever they have. They'll have stuff, lights, design and lights and patterns and stuff on them. Okay, so there's a fundamental basis of a very, very fundamental basis of what I'm going to do with lighting. I got the sky kind of where I want it, and I'm starting to, with the gray area here, I'm starting to flesh out which parts are going to be brighter, which parts are darker. And notice this area here, if I keep this part dark, that'll be really good because it'll help her to stand out a little bit more. Same thing should probably go on over here with this girl. If coincidentally this part happened to be darker, that would be useful for me because it'll help the girl to stand out more. And the princess here in the middle, I'm not worried about her because I think I'm going to have glow. Like she'll be emitting light almost like a halo. There's going to be magic coming from their hands that's helping to hold her up, levitating. So yeah, that should work out. Okay, let me take a quick break and I'll come back and finish this up. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do here is go into time-lapse with this. What I wanted to do previously, I'm not sure if I'm going to follow through with my plan. The thing is, I've been very busy just outside of doing this stuff, regular life kind of stuff. So been super busy. It took me almost 2 weeks, I believe, to even get to this particular video. It's just been like in the waiting. I've been doing all this other stuff, and so yeah, I might not even. The original plan was to have a 3-part thing. I'm not sure if I'll get to the 3rd part because I still want to make videos, but I don't want them to become like another job in addition to what I'm already doing. I'm having fun with the videos. When it gets to the point where I have like, when I start to make a schedule out of it and say like, let me make a series like this, 1, 2, 3, and have it all organized and stuff, it gets to be a bit stressful. So at the moment there aren't even any. I don't think there's any people watching. By the time I put this one up, if anybody was following me, they're probably not anymore. We'll see what happens. But regardless, yeah, where was I? So this is already almost like 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is just time lapse this. The rest of this, while I'm doing this, I'll put on some music and just music or TV or whatever, and then I'll just keep doing a thing. And then I'm not even going to talk like at the end of the video when the time lapse is over. It's just over. And so the reason I'm doing this is this way I can actually make more videos. I'm going to keep. I keep doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm going to keep making more videos, but I'm not going to do it like so organized with the future videos. Just whatever I happen to be drawing at the time. Because this particular season, in the future I'll do some more organized stuff, but for this particular month I just got to be a little bit more random, because it's not worth all that stress and headache and stuff. So we'll see in a bit. This one, I have some other stuff I'm already working on. I hate how it keeps going back like that. Like this software is actually really annoying. If you've used any other software before, this is just, some of the buttons are really annoying. So I already started a couple other videos, and they're going to be coming up soon. You can check those out. There'll still be plenty of videos to come, so go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to like it if you enjoyed this video. And next time, there'll be some other stuff to talk about. So we'll see you again. And enjoy the rest of the video. It's just going to be a time lapse where I finish up the color. I'm not going to go into shading. That's the point of this video. Actually, was just like choosing colors and stuff. And you'll see, I guess by the end, it should look a lot better than it does now. But sometimes, like, that was kind of the point. The foundation, the beginning of when you're choosing your colors, it doesn't necessarily look good, but it was based on all these ideas that I had. The concepts of like where I want things to be, lighting, shading, and composition and stuff. So that initial phase is something that you might want to consider sometimes. Don't just look at how other people, choose their colors, or if you look at other finished paintings and stuff and you say, oh, I think I get it. Actually, it may or may not be what you're seeing when you look at the finished product like that. There's a lot of thought process to go on. With the selection of colors, the lights and the darks and stuff. And I didn't even really go into that that well. I just covered a lot of like what I consider to be very fundamental topics this episode. In the future, I'll go into more detail about that. But yeah, for now, I'll just end the talking here. There'll be a little bit of video time lapse after this, which you can watch, and then we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamt of days gone by. The fire by the river burned, smoke rose to the sky. We spent the night singing songs and drinking till the day. They were good old times at Coinafern, we'll return someday. It's up the way north of the Spey, on the road that finds Strathdairn. The Fintarn winds through mountains high, there you'll find Coinafern. At that place we've worked together all each summer long. They were good old times at Coinafern. Come listen to this song. I remember trudging o'er the moors from morn till late in the day. Through mutton bog you'd have to jog to earn your weekly pay. There's keepers screaming in your ears and windburn on your face. They were good old times at Coinafern, for those who could hold the pace. Now there's ceilidhs almost every night in the bothy where we stay. Tunes were played and songs were sung, pants were ripped and frayed. We'd drink as a rule till we were full with whiskey, beer and gin. You'd soon learn at Coinafern an early night's a sin. Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamt of days gone by. The fire by the river blazed and smoke rose to the sky. We spent the night singing songs and drinking till the day. They were good old times at Coinafern, we'll return someday. So here's to them at Coinafern that made our welcome rare. The keepers and the gillies all, and the times that we all shared. Here's to the next summer when the season starts again, and the songs we'll sing and the booze we'll drink with our friends at Coinafern. The songs we'll sing and the booze we'll drink with our friends at Coinafern.